Our next speaker will share with us his insights on setting up a process of systemic innovation, generate and align ideas and convert into valuable products. Please let me invite Marco Orellana, technology consultant from Fundació Eurecat, Spain.
Bueno, hello everyone. First of all, thank you to the organization for the opportunity to present how in Eurecat we believe that innovation could be integrated in a company. So, for us, the objective on systemic innovation is transforming new ideas into product. We believe that, and we talk about innovation when the project generates value for customer and has a direct impact into the cash flow of the company. But what if innovation could be on demand and systemic? Could generate a competitive advantage and increase the market share of a company or better margins? For us, the answer is yes. But for so many companies or persons, innovation and systemic innovation is an oxymoron. That's two words that doesn't fit together. Many people mistakenly think so. They think that innovation is something only the special can do. They think that others either born with it or not. And they have difficulties to thinking outside the box. And they think that there are only one company or some special guys who can make some ideas and get into the market. For us, the innovation could be extractor, but not so much, because when you talk about of extractor, you have another kind of problem. And for example, this is a list of one of the most typical problems that company has when they're talking about systemic innovation, the portfolio load, the failure to scale up, different kind of project, pet ideas, isolated effort, or fixation on ideation. This is one kind of example. So, systemic innovation is a process and a set of continually evolving tools that will improve your ability to generate innovation on demand. This is some example. Do you think there are similar innovation? What do you think about this kind of slide? So, in all these products, they are replacing something, the old ways to do things. For example, the contactless replace the lens. Soup liquid without water. Well, this is kind of example that the companies can generate when the systemic innovation is a process into the organization. There are some different kind of level in innovation management. We separate in four, starting with the problem solver, problem preventer, continuous improvement, and then the most disruptive one is the creator of a new future. So the two key principal features or objective of innovation is to create an extractor with a good team, and then establish all the process to generate and select and experiment, prototype new ideas. This is the typical picture of different phases that we split the innovation. First of all, it's so important to have a competitive watch. There are some companies that has this department inside, or maybe they can buy the system or the service outside the company. The strategic alignment, the idea generation, project selection, project management, exploitation of the result, and of course, the IPR management. So, the objective of this systemic innovation process is to increase the collaboration between partners, try and advise partners on how to simulate innovation and establish the necessary management structure, provide tools to sharing ideas, and promote the innovation culture in all departments of a company. This is one general picture of how we establish the all systemic innovation process in a company. More or less, we do these services in 6 months, starting with the diagnosis, then the structure creation, strategic thinking, idea generation, and finish with the project launch. So, to start, the diagnosis is could be the most important phase when you establish all the culture of innovation in the company. We do several interviews to identify the right profiles that will be part of the whole innovation process. We identify who are innovative or who are passionate about it. Identify the potential problem that we will be solved. And it's like a picture of what is the state of art today inside the company and how the other one are doing it. Before that, the structure creation. This phase, this is an example of how a typical structure of innovation management will be. Of course, management will be involved. The director will expend and will invest some money and time to make all this process happen. Then you have an innovation committee that are responsible to select all the ideas, the promoter that act as an ambassador of the whole system, the innovation manager. He or she will be responsible to manage all the process, and finally, the innovation project teams. So start with the innovation committee. They have the responsibility to define the strategic line. Always the strategic line of innovation will be in the same direction that the strategy of the company. They define the criteria for idea selection, create an innovation teams, and they allocate the resource of the different project. So the innovation manager, he or she is responsible to manage all the portfolio, responsible to the entire process, to coordinate innovation commit, promote innovation. He or she need to be aware of other kind of company that can cooperate with the whole process, organize the creativity workshop coordinate with person who can be inside the company or maybe outside, and he or she monitor all the innovation process with the respective KPI that are defined of the innovation committee. So the promoter, as I say, they are the ambassador of all the process to the company. They talk with the other person in the company what the innovation committee is doing, and they collect ideas, support the launch of the project, help to difference between innovation and continuous improvement. This kind of difference is, we talk about innovation if it has an impact into the cash flow of the company, and continuous improvement, not. This is the main difference. The innovation project team are responsible to implement all the innovation projects. They are a multidisciplinary team. It's so important that here different departments will be part of all process and will be part to establish the different projects into the company. So the idea generation and selection, I will try to give you a little bit of example of different kind of workshop that the company can do to improve the idea generation. We always talk about bottom-up methodology. And for example, this is some creativity session. Some tip to do it is, the most important thing is to choose the right moderator to develop all the session. And it's important to select different persons from different departments of the company. In the diagnosis part, you identify who are the most innovative or the most passionate about this kind of process, and then it's important that this kind of person will be part of this session. For example, we split this kind of session in four phases. The first of all, create a focus, then a problem definition, the idea generation, and evaluation and idea selection. More or less will be like 2 hours of this kind of session. Another example is the brainstorming. Here is very important that the moderator can identify the distract ideas or the junk ideas to eliminate fast, because it's so easy that person can be distractive or will be having a great time, but not good ideas to discuss. Other kind of example is the reverse brainstorming, is ask the same question, but in the opposite way. For example, ideas on how to make our client stop buying our product. Why is important to do this kind of question? Then you can understand why your customer doesn't buy you, for example. When you are looking for a new product that is not in the market or a new idea that is difficult to develop, this kind of session is very useful for companies, the Scamper methodology. In this session, you ask for the participant, what if you substitute the product, if you combine, if you adapt, modify, put other use, eliminate? There are some different way to get more ideas for resolve the same problem. Infographics, they're always be important to have a look or a visual idea of what you are looking for. And the last part of this systematic innovation process is the project launch. We split it in two ways. The first, that is the most general one, develop a business plan. But normally, after 2 years or 3 of execution of the project, reality is far away from business plan. But it's a good idea to establish all the hypotheses that you have at the beginning. And the second one, and I believe that is very famous for you, is the Lean Startup methodology that can give you a fast way to prototype and develop fast your ideas. This kind of methodology help you to understand what your customer can think about the idea that you are generating. And it's a good way to start fast with a low investment. This methodology is cycle. You always need to be pivot your idea or your project with the customer or maybe with the supply chain of the company and improve fast and run faster too. Well, this kind of methodology is useful to ideate a problem-solve solution, to communicate to the customer what are you doing, to start a new conversation, to test different kind of possibility, and manage the solution building the process. Well, this is a small picture about how much invest do you need to test a project and compare it with the time that you need. Well, the first is the proof of concept. Then you made a prototype, an MVP, and minimal value product, and finally you do the production. So this session is part of one project that we are doing with the public financiation. Is Reimagine Textile. We are offered to the industry different workshop for free. For example, the next one will be of design thinking, how companies could develop this strategy into the business. So, well, that's all. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Hello, testing. I saw you mention KPIs on there. Do you have any thoughts on how you measure some of those?
Well, this is very important, but depends on all companies. And when you develop the diagnosis and the strategic alignment with the direction of the company, you develop the KPI. All companies has different. But for example, in terms of production, how many projects do you develop the last years in some specific part of the fabric, for example? It's difficult to give you an answer more general because it depends on all company when you define the strategic alignment of the whole process.
Thank you.